I think that Solomon Reed is not only a great character in Phantom Liberty, he's also a great illustration of what makes Cyberpunk 2077 so unique and poignant from a storytelling perspective. See, Reed actually kind of surprised and disarmed me when I first started to get to know him because on the one hand, he's like a cold-blooded assassin, but then on the other, he's this really soulful, compassionate father figure who's got all of this melancholy and regret and who feels responsible for others to a fault. He's extremely supportive, weirdly forgiving, he's very hard on himself, and don't get me wrong, he definitely has flaws, he's not like a good guy, but he presents himself as sort of a tender softie, and whenever you talk to him, he invites you into that emotional space. And like I said, this surprised me at first, given that the story of Phantom Liberty is all about action-packed spy thriller adventures. I just didn't expect to encounter that particular psychological profile. But after this initial surprise wore off, I started to think about it a little bit more deeply, and I realized that Solomon Reed might actually be completely in line with the rest of the characters and their stories in Cyberpunk 2077. My own personal favorites are Panam, Judy, and Johnny Silverhand, and the thing about these characters is that your relationship with all of them evolves over the course of the game into something that's surprisingly emotionally sincere and caring. Especially with Judy and Panam, you become like family, like you look out for each other, you're each other's blood. And then with Johnny, even though when you first meet him, he literally wants to kill you, and then after that, he just kind of resigns himself to the fact that he has to share a body with you. Eventually, he opens up to you and becomes like your most trusted bro who just wants you to live your best life and will do a lot to make that a reality. And you have quite a few moments of truly vulnerable, emotional openness with him. And in light of all these character stories, I think that Solomon Reed's own streak of fatherly tenderness fits into this cast of characters very comfortably. That's because the way I see it, the character stories of Cyberpunk 2077 are defined by this overall theme of family, love, and friendship, and they stand in really stark relief against the brutality of Night City, which is this hyper-consumerist, hyper-cynical, hyper-violent, dog-eat-dog techno-capitalist hellhole. Night City is a place where money and power seem to be the only things that matter, and it feels like the city is constantly trying to root out and destroy the love, family, and friendship that we cherish so much in life. And I think that goes a long way toward explaining why all of the character stories in Cyberpunk 2077 ultimately end up foregrounding the very things that Night City seeks to destroy. These are stories about characters running away from the unhappy fate that this dystopian world has in store for them as they try to piece together temporary shelters from the storm of violence and despair. All they really want is peace and love, but they struggle to find it in the cycle of violence from which they seem unable to escape. And I think that that might be what the Cyberpunk universe is all about as a storytelling setting. The character drama foregrounds these surprisingly tender, sincere themes of love and compassion and just trying to be happy with your friends. And that drama is made all the more poignant when placed against the backdrop of the cynical and dehumanizing hell of Night City. And the thing that I really love about this entire dramatic premise is that the characters and their stories never succumb to the irony and the cynicism of the capitalist hellscape that they inhabit. They really do resist it and are really seriously committed to sharing their humanity with each other and with the audience. And I think that's refreshing.